Hi, I'm Kelly Michael Stewart. I'm the Festival Director of Blood in the Snow, and I'm happy to be on the Keith Andrew Network.
I'm Simon Phillips, and I'm being interviewed on the Keith Andrew Network. I'm delighted to be here, and everybody should tune in.
Today on the Keith Andrew Network, we sit down with Simon Phillips and Kelly Stewart. Here on the Keith Andrew Network, be sure to like and subscribe, and as I always say, catch you later. Right, so starting off the Keith Andrew Network, people want to know, what is the Keith Andrew Network? The whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities that never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. To prove to them some out something. So that being said, it's going to be 26 minutes of your time. Freedom of speech, self-expressing. It is PG-13, but you do have the right to say what you want and how you want. So starting off with you, Simon, is what can you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and the type of work that you do?
Right, I'm Simon Phillips. Thanks for having me, Keith. I'm an actor. I'm a producer. I've done various TV show and film projects. Right now, on my latest release is a feature film called Stealing Chaplin, which is about two guys who dig up the body of silent film star Charlie Chaplin and try to ransom him to the family. A bit of a dark comedy set in Las Vegas.
No, absolutely. You know, I like a little dark humor too. Yeah, but we can definitely get that in a little bit. Kelly, what about yourself?
Well, thank you for having me, Keith. This is really great. I've watched a few of your episodes, and it's really wonderful. And I really love what you're doing. It's really great. I started the Blood in the Snow Film Festival in 2012 here in Toronto, Canada. And what we were at that time, there was no Canadian horror being played exclusively at a festival. Maybe a few films here and there, but there wasn't really an opportunity for filmmakers across Canada to show their work that were like horror, sci-fi, action, thrillers, that sort of thing. And we've been doing it for 10 years now. We're on a channel called Super Channel up here in Canada. That's across Canada, very similar to, I guess, HBO or something like that in the States, like that because of COVID-19. And then this year, we're going to go back to theaters and have it on Super Channel, October 29th to the 31st on Super Channel, and then at the Royal Cinema in Toronto, which is a really great old theater here, November 18th to the 23rd. So there are usual 6 days. So we're getting the best of both worlds there. But yeah, we've been doing that for about 10 years now, and we play feature films, web series, short films, even micro 15-second shorts. Now we have a new category like that to make it fun. And then we also have a lot of industry events too. We have it's a great place for filmmakers to meet each other and to have so we have panels and networking parties and different things, because the social aspect of film festivals is just as important as the screenings. So we work really hard for that. So yeah, something that we're really proud of, and we try and be as inclusive as we can for different people, and we just keep growing each year.
No, absolutely. You know, it's funny you should mention Toronto. I've never been there, but I love the name Toronto. I always wanted to move to Canada. And it's, you know, a lot of great things came from Canada. We have the Heart Foundation, you know, Brett and Owen. We have Trish Stratus. We have the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's a great team. I almost said Tampa Bay Lightning, but I think they're actually from another state. But the question I'm going to ask both of you now is, how have you thought about all this free time that you have in your hands thanks to on the lockdown and being confined to your house? Do you ever find yourself just staring off into space and thinking, if I didn't have this opportunity, I probably would go crazy? Do you think this gave you kind of like a renewal and see how your career will go? And whoever wants to start first.
Yeah. I can go first on that one. Well, I think that the pandemic has really made me appreciate everything that that we do have. I mean, I've always appreciated what I've built with the film festival, but I think I've appreciated it even more. And now that I haven't been able to see my own team even for a year and a half, it's, you know, it's made me miss them so much. And not so much just on a business side, but I think the side of the festival I'm missing most is the friendships and the social side of it. I mean, we're always like there networking and changing business cards, but I have to admit, I mean, I really, I've built a lot of friendships with everyone. And I think everyone I've spoken to are just looking forward. Everyone I talk to is just looking forward to giving each other a hug. I think that's like the number one thing everyone wants to do. It's not, I think it's going to really change the tone of the networking events that when we see open up again. And I think it's going to be much more genuine, like really happy to see you, because I'm just really happy to see, you know, like really appreciate, you know, just not only what, you know, what we could do for the business side of the festival, but also just because it's where filmmakers are, and Simon, I'm sure can attest to this, is like, we're a bunch of misfits, you know, we're doing things that aren't the normal thing in life. These aren't normal day job kinds of things. And I think what the networking part of it tends to be more of a therapy session of like, yeah, I've gone down the same crazy road you have. We can relate to each other. We can relate on what, so the networking is more like, I'm doing this crazy thing. What are your crazy thing that you're doing? Oh yeah, that's really great. You're doing that crazy thing. And it's just like, and so it's kind of a fun way to kind of like connect with everyone. And so, so yeah, so so that's the part I'm, you know, I think looking forward to. And I've been probably more lucky than other film festivals. A lot of them had to cancel. I know some of them had to quit completely, and only a handful in Toronto at least have gone online, different like that too. So I've been very lucky that we've had that Super Channel relationship for last year, and we have that continuing. So even this year, if God forbid in November we still can't have it in person, we can still move everything onto Super Channel. So I know for sure we have a film festival this year, whereas I know other people who are in my position running festivals don't have that luxury. And so the pressure hasn't been on me as hard as it's been on other people. I think it's been harder on a lot of other people than it's been for me. I think the hardest part for me probably through the pandemic is seeing people like my sister, who's a healthcare worker, and other healthcare workers I have being on the front lines and having to deal with that. And so it makes my problem seem pretty trivial. Like, well, we have it in line or on person. It's not exactly the biggest, you know, worry in the world. You know, it's kind of like that. So I try and keep my perspective on things that way too.
Yeah, absolutely. Simon, how we're having the same question during this time was lockdown. Has it give you a different expertise and a different outlook on your career? Have you thought about making changes to your career?
No, I mean, I'm going to echo what Kelly said. Ours is, we are a bunch of misfits, and we delight in that sort of ability to be with each other. And it's difficult to do what we do virtually. You know, lots of jobs can be done virtually. I think this has shown that to a lot of people, but filmmaking isn't one of them. It's still, so there is a big community spirit, a competitive community spirit, but still a community spirit there. And it hasn't made me reevaluate any of these things. I think it's made me reappreciate them. I mean, how spoilt we were before, how small the world was, and how big it feels again. You know, so I'm from England. I'm from London, and I live near Kelly in Canada, sort of in Ottawa. But I work in the States a lot, and the world was very small. You know, it was all quite connected. And since lockdown, I felt that the world is very big again. Everything feels so far away. Even people that aren't actually that far away feel a bit far away. So I'm looking forward to shaking hands and getting back into the physicality of making films, because it is something you need to do looking at someone. It's very difficult to do over emails or Zooms or phone calls. Looking at somebody 3 feet away from you is filmmaking. You know, it's all about intensity and relationships, and those relationships are easiest when you're right there in front of someone. So just renewed appreciation of what we did have, and I hope it's coming back.
No, I agree. You know, I don't know how it is in Canada or England, but I'm going to tell you in the States, they're giving everyone mixed signals. First, they're saying, you know, we're going to loosen up a mask, you know, like for an example, for baseball games, we're going to have people who are vaccinated over here, people who are not vaccinated over there. Okay, that's fine. What happens if you have to go take a piss? What happens if you're hungry? What happens if you want to get up, everyone's together. Like, so you're separating people to watch the game, but you're putting people together to use the bathroom to get food. But, the same thing on that topic, put my other 2 cents in. They're saying it's okay, you can loosen up with the masks, but then the CNC is saying you have to wear your mask, you have to social distance. I actually forgot what the word was. Social distance and keep a distance, but it's kind of like, which one is it? Is it things are getting better and things are like looking up? Or is it at the same time, they just don't know what the hell they're doing? Kelly, I'm going to start over your, sorry, I had a brain fart. When I don't do my interviews as late, my disability shows more, hint of the show. But what I'm going to ask you is, how's it in Canada? Are you guys getting mixed signals?
Oh yeah, we've had our own case of mixed signals. I would compare our Premier of Ontario, the leader of Ontario, very much like a Donald Trump. He's just kind of all over the place and not really qualified to do his job. But yeah, what's been the pandemic has actually probably been the hardest on Canadians, and especially in Toronto. I think honestly in the last 3 months, because last year we were doing okay. Everything was locked down, but you could feel that we were, compared to how things were going in the States, we were actually doing pretty good. But then things turned to the worst in the new year, and we haven't been able to get vaccines. See, one thing is they don't actually make any of the vaccines here in Canada. So we're on reliant to shipping all the Pfizer, Moderna, all of that stuff has to be all shipped in. So we don't make a single thing, a dose of it here at all. So we're all dependent on our country buying it from other countries. And so even though the vaccine's been rolling out, we're not anywhere close to where you are in the States. So we watch a lot of US news, and it's been very, very frustrating to see people in the States get it. I mean, I think we're getting there now. We're about 35%. And that's a big jump up than it was just a few weeks ago. But it was very, very frustrating, especially about 3 weeks ago, because we were at 2%, I think. It was nothing. And we're seeing all these big celebrations on American TV of, Jennifer Lopez and stuff, hey, we're back and all that kind of thing. And we're so behind. So that's been watching, like, we're kind of always watching America like that. And we're just like to see, I guess we'd be excited that we haven't even been able to even have that debate about even having the ball games open at this point. Like, it's not even at the debate stage. This is why it's still an open question. Well, we'll even have movie theaters open in November at this rate. I mean, I thought it was in January. I thought it was for sure we'd be open, but because now we're practically, we're going to be into June soon, and there's no sign of the theaters opening at all, not even limited screenings at this point. I still think I'm cautiously optimistic, but I think it's still going to be, it's going to be close. So that's been the hardest part. Definitely, it's been the morale in Canada has been very, very low. Everyone I've spoke to in the last month, but I think we're supposed to get a new shipment, I think, in a couple of weeks, and I think things are just slowly getting a little bit better.
No, yeah, absolutely. Simon, before you answer, I don't want to say, it's not that they really don't care about the people. It's about, they want people to go to concerts and wrestling. And the economy keeps people employed, and the people need to work. I do agree with that. But you have to be smart at it too. It's not like, go back to mixed signals, like go back to work and what? Oh, you get sick, you get sick and you die and you get better. But you can't have that mentality. It's kind of like, which one is it? I know, what about in England? What's it?
In England, they're doing slightly better now on vaccines. Again, they're ahead of the game a little bit in England, but they were in lockdown for a long time. So they had it very bad at one point, and now they've started to open up. So Canada was doing better for a longer time than both England and America. We weren't as badly in lockdown. We weren't and then we seem to have sort of suffered with a slow vaccine rollout. I mean, Canada's a big country, so it's an administrative nightmare. We're not in big cities everywhere, so it's it's tough, I think, to roll it out in Canada, and we haven't been doing that well. But we've been, other places are ahead of us in terms of that. So, look, man, I'm not a doctor. I think that the vaccine is the answer. Obviously, it makes our world go back to not normal, but something new, normal. I think masks are here to stay for a while. Sort of social distancing, sanitizing, all that sort of enhanced stuff, cleaning stuff, hygiene stuff is all here to stay. I have a longing to get back to having a drink at a bar, and I don't know. Right now, it feels like a crime to hug somebody. Sort of a crime to shake somebody's hand. I would enjoy that again. I hope it hasn't passed. I hope there's sort of days ahead that are like that.
Like the joke is how people in China and Japan always walked around with wearing masks, and they never got sick. Supposedly, they never got sick, but maybe they had the right idea. But I don't want to walk around with a mask for the rest of my life. But after we have to deal with the public, sneezing, coughing, people not covering their damn mouths. Maybe that's got to be the new normal. And I didn't really think what the new normal meant. I thought people were trying to make, hashtag new normal. But unfortunately, this is a lot of people, or the NFL, I think it was saying 2025 until things get normal. But the scary part is people really don't know. And the fact is, I'm not trying, like you said, I'm not trying to be a doctor. So I'm not going to say, well, he said next year, and he said, it doesn't matter. We take it one step at a time. The biggest hurdle is everyone should get vaccinated. Once everyone gets vaccinated, we can keep this thing under control. Hopefully it will disappear. Unfortunately, it'll probably be like the flu. You just get a booster shot, you get a shot, and you just have to keep your health in check. But we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about disabilities and social media when we come back. So coming back from the commercial break, first thing I want to promote is HB Gibson, home of the X Zone. If you're into video gaming, interviews, and great comic books, definitely check out HB Gibson. Also, check out Life of a Fighter. If you're into eating healthy, fighting for a good reason, fighting and being in shape, definitely check out Life of a Fighter. Make sure to subscribe to the KeithAndrewNetWork. We have tons of great content and videos available. Make sure to hit the bell icon and like icon, available on Facebook and YouTube. But tonight is everyone's favorite Wednesday night wrestling. It's AEW, available on TNT, 8 o'clock. If you're in the West Coast, it's about 8 o'clock, I guess. And it doesn't matter about the West Coast. It's go to AEW All Elite Wrestling. You can check out the listings and times if you're in the States, 8 o'clock. The first thing I want to talk to you both of you about is disabilities. But usually I say this for the end, but I'm going to ask you right now. When I first approached both of you to be a guest on my talk show, I want you to be brutally honest. When I first approached both of you to be on my show, what made you say yes? How do you feel now? And would you recommend to other people? And Kelly, I'll start off with you.
I was happy to, be on your show. I didn't hesitate at all, Keith. And I'm always happy to talk to every kinds of people for different podcasts. And I think it's great with what you're doing. I watched, when I looked you up, watched a couple of episodes. I watched the episode with Brigitte Kingsley, who was another alumni of our festival. So I was aware of your work after you reached out to me. I didn't hesitate at all to be on your show, and really happy to be here. As far as the disability concerns too, is that's something that was very, very important to our festival lately. We actually just hired a disability consultant for our festival to make sure our festival is more accessible going forward. Something that I think we've maybe neglected. And so that's so we're trying different things to make sure that that's more accessible. We also want to try have more filmmakers with disabilities submit films to the festival. This could be both visible and invisible disabilities, I should mention. So like that. So we're trying everything we can to try and make our festival as inclusive as possible. So we do have a disability consultant on the team. That same consultant is also on our jury, we have a development lab that we're starting this year. And so we have a disability consultant on that jury to make sure that that's being represented as well. So we have a lot of work to do for that, but it's something that we're cognitive of, and we want to do as much as we can for.
Oh, absolutely. And Simon, what about you? Well, same type question. What made you say yes? How do you feel now? And because I hope not to pat myself on the back, working with people with disabilities, it's always a treat, and it always makes people see life through another aspect of, if that makes any sense.
Of course it does. Yes. Yeah. I wouldn't worry about explaining yourself too much to me. I definitely, I'm totally on board with what you're doing. I mean, I said yes for selfish reasons because you wanted to interview me, and to be honest, that was where, I wouldn't have. I don't want to say I didn't see disability. What I mean is, it didn't factor into I wouldn't have not done it because you had a disability. I don't imagine a lot of people in the world would still have that attitude. I hope that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I did it for very selfish reasons because I wanted to talk to you about my film. But it did. I knew who you were. I had a look, like Kelly. I had a little look up who you were in your show. I didn't hesitate in my decision. It didn't really factor in. And I hope there's more people that think like that. Particularly in film, we seem to have this, as Kelly will probably attest to, sort of an elitist attitude. Film is very competitive in that way. So historically, maybe systemically, there's this attitude that people with disabilities can't be in films, can't make films, and again, visible and invisible, it should be worth saying. But actually, as Kelly started his interview with, we're a crazy bunch of misfits to begin with. That's filmmakers, so we're often, when we make films, people are they applaud our efforts, but in the process of making films, people do think we're damn right crazy. We are the outcasts a little bit of society. We don't have regular 9-to-5 jobs. We don't have job security, and people perceive us to be chasing some weird Hollywood dream that we can never really attain. I think there's a lot of room for acceptance in our community, and for people with disabilities and mental health issues. Both of those things. There needs to be more. I'd like to personally see more filmmakers, and not just people in front of the camera, but for people behind the camera making it. Technology, as Kelly and everybody that's on social media and Zooms and stuff like that. Technology is so much in the filmmakers' pocket now. It's so, anybody can make an Oscar-winning film with an iPhone these days, that it's become so accessible that it has opened up everything, so I think that should include people with disabilities, and I'd like to see more of it. And I think it's got to be from top down as well. I think the Oscars need to start having categories for these things. That's the sort of way to stimulate growth, stimulate people like Kelly's doing. They're encouraging people to submit to festivals. Once you get a bunch of larger bodies, larger film festivals, larger awards bodies recognizing that, then I believe you'll see a lot more growth.
No, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. Now, wrapping up our talk show segment, one thing I do want to promote for both of you is invite both of you to be on my 8-year anniversary. That's going to be June 10th at 5 o'clock. I know in the UK that's 10. I hope it's not too late, but I would love to have you here. But you did say you're in the States, so hopefully the time difference works out. But let me know. I can definitely send you the invite. The other thing I want to pass it over to you guys real fast. Was there anything you wanted to talk about, anything you want to promote? How can our fans and listeners get in touch with you? And Simon, I'm going to start off with you.
Well, the timing of your interview is wonderful, Keith, because I have a movie coming out, which is out right now in the States, called Stealing Chaplin. It's on Amazon. It's on iTunes. If you're in Canada, it's on iTunes. Anywhere you stream stuff, it's I tend to find it. It's on DVD on Amazon and so on and so forth. It's a comedy, and it's you know what? There's a lot of the world seems a bit depressing right now if you look outside the window. So it's a bit of comic relief. It's not to be taken too seriously. And I think if you look hard enough, there's still a lot of laughter and a lot of love around the world. You just have to look a little harder to see it, because we're not able to be with all the people we should. So I feel like we've made a film that could cheer people up at this time. I like the timing of its release. And I'm very, very proud of myself and the team that made it. Paul Tanter, the director, Doug Phillips, the writer, Ken Bressers, the producer. They've done a wonderful job at making something a little gem. So I want to tell your fans to check it out, please.
No, absolutely. Kelly, what about you?
Well, I'm going to plug another one of Simon's right out too. I don't see his film. This is previous. So Once Upon a Time at Christmas. And we've actually played both the films.
How much do I owe you, Kelly?
What's that?
How much do I owe you?
Yeah, 5 cents there. We also played a digital series that's on Amazon. Age of the Living Dead. I like that too. That was part of our digital program that we had that aired on. And so you actually can watch the first one, Once Upon a Time at Christmas, on Super Channel. So if you're any viewers who are watching in Canada, you can still watch it on that. It's one of our alumni titles. But that in itself segues to what we do. We are here to promote filmmakers and like that and their projects. And so we're here to help filmmakers any way that we can. And like we said, we're having the festival again one way or another in November. You can find us at bloodinthesnow.ca. Our industry side is at deadlyexposure.ca, and you can see our application for our BITS development lab, and you can find out all about that. And then our social media handles are BITS Film Fest for all of them, for Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and we're pretty active on all of those. And you can find it all about us that way.
Oh, absolutely. Now I have a couple questions for you guys all here. But wrapping up, it was a real honor and privilege having both of you here. I just want to say thank you very much. And I'm looking forward to part 2 down the road. And as I always say to our fans, I'll catch you later.